what I think President Trump has done is she's created something that I know Raquel and we've been in this politics thing for a very long time, but I think he's created a path for future presidents to run on to garner the black vote. It's a very key and crucial vote. One of the things that I learned back in, if a Democrat candidate doesn't top 90% of the black vote, they lose. Hillary Clinton got 88%. She lost. So the black vote is key. It's crucial, and 15 to 20%. I think it would be the greatest thing that could ever happen. I want to start with Raquel. Raquel, what do you think? Where do you think Trump's numbers are going to end up when it comes to the vote tally?
All right, okay.
That may end in January. Right?
I'm cutting you right now because that 15-20%, I'm not going for that.
You not?
No way. I'm going higher than that.
Whoa!
All right.
I'm going higher. I believe there is an awakening among young people, among black people. There's an awakening that we haven't seen yet. We're going to see it November 3rd. I do believe that we're going to go higher. You know, don't call me if it don't happen now. But
You're on tape, though, saying this.
But I'm optimistic. Now, I know that, what was it, 30%? You get 30% back on again. I don't know about the 35%, but it's definitely going to be higher than 20%. I'm definitely over 15%. No way. We're going high. This is going to be a rout. This is going to be this is going to be the red wave. And just because we're here in Illinois and it doesn't feel like it, that's okay. Other states are smarter than we are.
Here's the reason why we're in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And as far as the black vote is concerned, I like what you're saying. Can I just add like a little bit? I'm gonna be a little bit controversial. Yes, Trump is my dream candidate. He's saying all the right things that other candidates have been afraid to say. He's like my dream guy. I've been like, why can't you do that? I'm afraid to. That's what the candidates say.
Yes.
All right. I don't think we're gonna get it again. I don't think the Republicans are gonna learn from this. You can only be one Trump. There's only one guy that's crazy enough. Okay, and Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
Crazy enough to say some of the things that Trump has said, and I just don't see. We're gonna go back to Mitt Romney's, back to Mittens, back to the Bushes. Who you name me somebody who you think is gonna run? That's gonna
Don Jr.
Ted Cruz is no. Listen, I was a Ted Cruz delegate. Ted Cruz is no Donald Trump.
No.
Candace and Ivanka.
A little too liberal for some of the Republicans that are still existing.
And that's Ivanka, not Candace.
Sure. Yes. So I'm just saying.
All right, Verlon.
I think the best way to get the black vote is to open up a dialogue with black people next time you talk to somebody black. Open up a dialogue about the value system. What values do you hold dear? And guess what president did that no other president did? Donald Trump.
Right.
He talked to Jim Brown. He talked to Steve Harvey. This is before these guys. He was always friends with Kanye West. Then he started talking to Ice Cube. He talked to, what's the other guy, Lil Wayne. He talked to all of these people. No other president would do that. They would think that they're too high and mighty, or they would think that they're too good to talk to people like this. But Donald Trump is just like me and you. You know, he's a regular person. Yeah, he's rich, but so what? I aspire to be rich. You know, I used to watch this man when I was 10, 11 years old on Lifestyles of Rich and Famous. I wanted him. I wanted that guy. But you know the first businessman I voted for? Ross Perot, because I couldn't get a Donald Trump. But now we have a Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And if we lose Donald Trump, we lose this country because we lose the culture wars to the left. We're done. And I'm sorry to say, but a lot of our people are easily led. I'm not. So that's why we need you to just open up a polite dialogue. What values do you hold dear? Do you want to be dependent on the government for the rest of your life? No, I do.
Islands in the street. Okay. Listen, you said they're easily led, but they're not easily led away from the Democrat Party. They're not easily led. That's the problem. Yeah, they're easily led. Now try to talk them into voting for the R. Try to talk them into voting for anything but the D. We can do it, but we started. We've opened up. You're right. The dialogue has been started.
But Raquel, what you say is not just dialogue, because I do think people have opened up dialogue, but the actionable aspect of once you've opened up the dialogue, what does that lead to?
Listen,
Hasn't that been the problem? We've been in this 20-some years.
Right. I've always said this, that the campaign doesn't start around election time. The
Correct.
campaign starts on November 4th. That we need to be in the community. We need to be going to events. We need to be sponsoring things that are happening in those areas where we're trying to get votes, right?
Wait. I want Chad to get in on this because Chad. You actually have a friend. Your friend.
We've
Your
had
one
good
black friend.
conversations about this. My one black friend happens to be my business partner, who I have invested in and work for, really. One of the smartest people I've ever met. Comes from nothing, comes from Cabrini Green. He's actually really a conservative, but the dialogue is so inefficient. That hasn't got to him yet.
Yeah.
He doesn't even realize how he's this hyper productive, efficacious human being. Total asset column, as Ted Nugent would say.
Yeah.
And he still sees himself as not part of mainstream America for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is a failure to do outreach appropriately. So he and I trust each other.
Right.
You know, we fight like brothers,
Did you
but
vote
we
for Trump?
not at all. And I've been working on it. I'm trying. You know, I got my work cut out for me there. But it's a process. And I believe that he probably will be voting Republican in 2 years. It's just he's really hard-headed. And he's an engineer, and those guys are hard to convince.
I want to ask Raquel a couple of questions.
You interviewing now?
What's the biggest component that we lost in the black community since, say, 65, 70?
What, fathers in the home?
Fathers in the home, 75%. We used to be 25% out of the home. Now we're 75% out of the home. What replaced the black father?
Well, we know government.
Government.
Government does what?
They pay all the bills. They even discipline your child now.
No, they don't let your child be disciplined. That's the reason why they're running wild now. They don't have any fear. They don't fear you. They don't fear God.
Right.
Okay, so how do you lead black people away from the free cheese?
They still giving out the block cheese? No.
No, they get real food now. They can go grocery shopping better than you now. That's right.
No, I don't know. What is the answer? I don't know what
You gotta have an answer to the
The
question.
dialogue. That's why I tried before you took the microphone to appeal to the people and say that they need to open up a dialogue. We need each other. We need white people. While we think we don't, we need white people so we can open up this dialogue and appeal, not argue, just appeal and ask people, what do you hold dear? And once black people start having the dialogue and understand that we all have the same likes and same dislikes, and we're all Americans.
I
We
got
love this country.
I
I
got
love this country.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
I got something to add. What's my answer? No, go ahead.
Okay. So the argument is not with Verlon, just so you guys know.
Here's
Here's what I see on the streets. I like what you're saying. What you're saying is right. I don't disagree. You and I are on the same team. I'm just saying, let's talk about convincing folks to come over. I've had several conversations with friends, and it's been, look, you and I want the same thing. We want the same thing. We just have a different approach. They don't even believe that we want the same thing.
Right.
That's where I'm going. We have there's such a hold. There's such a hold on the black community. I don't know. I'm being honest. I don't know how to break through the hold. John,
And that's to my point. Do you believe it's generational? Because when you look at the numbers, the group that's mostly voting for Trump is the 18 to 49 age range. Those older people are still sticking around with Biden. So do you think I don't want to say it this way, but do you think it's a generational thing that once that old generation of black folks who some of them have gone through Jim Crow
Purpose.
and things of that nature, do you think once they're gone, because look throughout social media,
every time somebody talks about something, says something bad about Trump, it's always about something that happened in the past. Every white person in here, you're under a decree, something that you never did. How many people here own slaves?
Come on now.
Come on, how many here? Exactly. But you're still being held to that account because of something that your ancestors did. And guess what else? Our ancestors did.
Yeah.
That's the part of the conversation. See, in order to really solve problems, you have to talk about the full you have to have the full conversation. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. You have to have these conversations. So do you think it's because of that old generation?
Not necessarily, because I'm gonna tell you, some of the old generation folks kind of with Trump because
Well,
he's
my
in
mom
there.
did.
They're kind of with Trump because they're looking at this and going, I don't like what these other people are doing. I think it's our generation that's actually the ones that are like not moving. It's our age group that's like, we're sticking with the Democrats. We're not going there. You know what I'm saying? I think it was the education. Verlon?
And we talked. Wait. And we talked about this last year, especially the black woman. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Verlon.
Go
I
ahead,
have to
Verlon.
push back against this because I'm in the same age group and I talk to a lot of black people on the street and they feel disenfranchised. They don't feel they're part of this country.
I agree.
This is the phrase that they use. I'm just black in America. So they don't even think of themselves as Americans.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So honestly, and then I got a lot of hardcore, my brother, he's a SJW, and we argue like cats and dogs, we love each other, but we don't agree on nothing. He wants to separate from the country. He feels America owes us land, and we can put
But
the
see,
blacks that
look,
want
it goes back to that. See,
They go back to- they wanna
always
separate.
going back there.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
So they want to deseparate.
So what are you pushing back on, Verlon? Because I'm agreeing with you.
Right. What you pushing back on?
Yeah.
The narrative that you were just saying that how you don't know what black people are and they vote for Trump or they're leaning
No,
towards
I'm
Trump.
saying the older people, some of the older people that I know, they're actually looking at Trump saying they're a little bit more open because the way he talks is some of the things that they've grown up. Like this over 60, the older people, 70.
Over 60, that's not really old.
Chad, you guys
Between 60 and 70,
All right.
they may be. But the ones that's like 80 and 90, they like the power base that they
Okay,
have within the
troublemaker.
Democrat
Chad got
Party.
something to say about
Go
that.
ahead, Chad.
But, and I'm looking around the room, and most people in this room look like me. And one of the things that
And
I
me,
see,
I'm ish.
ish,
Blackish.
much better tan than I have. But the one failure I think that's been really obvious to me having these conversations with a variety of people is white conservative America was kind of asleep at the wheel when people were being marginalized and were being disenfranchised, and they've always had the right message. I mean, Republicans have always been the party of freedom, leave you alone, I'll do my
Big
thing.
Tent.
But at a certain point, they quit caring about their community past a certain border. And I believe that neglect has swung back the other way, where now we're experiencing this insanity, where now we just need to be communist
Right.
and turn the whole table over and kill it. And I think the most important thing that people who look like me can do to help rectify this problem, because it is a problem and we're fixing it, but we're not fixing it fast enough.
But I like that you said it is a problem.
Yeah.
I think the name of my show was Black and Right. I get a lot of people like when I did the boat cruise. How many white people are going to be on there? Well, I was like, what? But when it comes to stop feeling, I don't know what's the word that white people guilt.
Guilt.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Stop
guilt.
falling for the white guilt trip that so many people try to place upon you. It's and the only way you hear so many white people, they say, well, can we stop talking about race? No, there's nothing wrong with talking about it. That's the problem. Nobody's having a conversation about it. And the only way we fix it is to talk about it. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward. Especially some of you like Joel.
Let me ask the question. Why is it 2020 and we're still? What are we fixing? What are we fixing? Let me listen. I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person. Please know that.
Only on Tuesdays.
I don't like people in general.
She does.
Okay.
That's the truth.
I don't care what race you are. I'm equal opportunity. I am not dealing with you. So I wanna know, and Berlin, I'm putting it to you. Why in 2020 are we asking white people to fix relationship problems? Why is there a problem? It's 2020. I go out and I see the Asian neighbor talking to the Hispanic neighbor and
Latino.
Latinx. You know, let's get it right. So
They hate that, by the way.
You're right.
I'm an American.
Right, like, hello. So I see all kinds of things. So why are we doing this? Talk to me.
Black people feel that white people control the system, and we don't really have a say in the system. That's why you see the outrage, the burning down of the communities, burning down of businesses, the violence, because Democrats have given the okay, wink, wink, that it's okay to do these things without repercussions.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I want to go back to what John said. When they make you feel guilty, they start out with this phrase called white privilege.
Fragility.
Check your white privilege. Check your
Karen.
white fragility. Don't push back against it. It's a phrase that came about within the last 3-4 years. Push back against it. Tell your story. How am I privileged? I grew up on a farm. Tell them. Have you ever got up at 3?
Can you say that one line again? Tell what?
Tell them your story.
Come on.
I had to get up 3-4 in the morning to fetch eggs. I had to milk cows. I did this before school. I did it after school. I had 2 pairs of pants. I had 1 pair of overalls. Tell them your story. Tell them I had a hard ass for a father. You know, you tell your story and say, hey, you got welfare for how long? You lived better than me for how long? You had cable TV. You had big screen TV. You had new furniture. You had a nice public housing.
Hey, Verlon, show of hands. How many people feel uncomfortable and awkward when it comes to talking about issues of race?
Get over it. Get over it.
Get over it. Seriously. This whole white fragility, and this is how they do it. And what I'm saying that we have to fix is we have to fight and fix and push back against how they take control of the vocabulary. Think about everything that they've ever done. Remember, when it was what was the abortion rights at first? It was abortion rights, then it became pro-choice. They're always changing the vernacular. Women's reproductive rights. They're always, listen, this is how they get you. Stop cowering in a corner. Get up, fight, push back. I think there are 3 people, and close your ears, you've heard this speech. But I really believe there are 3 groups that are gonna save America. The immigrant, the black race, and the moment the white race really wakes up to realize they don't have to cower in fear, because people who are black or even Latino or Hispanic, that you realize, wait a minute, that's not who I am. I don't have to go and donate and say Black Lives Matter. You know, I did a whole 3-week show on the whole thing, the issue of Black Lives Matter. Do I believe Black Lives Matter? Yep. Do I despise the Black Lives Matter group? Yep. You can say Black Lives Matter. You don't have to put your fists up. You don't have to, as these leaders, get on your knee in solidarity. No. Do what Verlon and Raquel said. Strike up a conversation. It starts there. I'm sorry.
You took everything I had to say.
Go ahead. You want to say
Well,
something?
the one thing I've noticed, and sorry, dealing with, especially with
This is
startup
uncomfortable for
companies,
Chad.
around
The token. He is the token.
with startup companies, with all companies really, with products, it doesn't matter which one's best. I think we can all agree conservatism is the best message there is, but marketing matters. And Democrats are much better marketers, and that's part of that framing the argument. And yeah, white people shouldn't be scared, because if you don't frame the argument, someone will frame it for you, and now all of a sudden
they
you're
framed
racist.
it. They framed it for them.
Yeah.
Right, you can't win that.
Right.
You have no say.
So here we are, it's 2020, and
Hey, Jim.
by the way, I'm a person of a certain age, over 40, over 40, and when I was coming up in school and college, they already started the Africa diaspora conversations about, how the white oppression and this, that, and the other. They already started that. They have a head start on us.
They do.
By the way,
They
these conversations about how awful America is, I've had this fight. I've had the fight about how awful America is. Back when was the Kosovo War during Clinton years? 89. It was the 90s. Okay, so I think it was about it was about 91, 92. Now, picture this. It's about 91, 92. And I was in Luxembourg,
Sound like a Halloween.
sitting in my friend's balcony, discussing. They had an anniversary party. They had lots of champagne. So they were drinking champagne,
Wait
selling
a minute, you
politics.
black and you in Luxembourg? No.
Don't ask. That was back in the previous life before politics. I've taken a bow of poverty. Okay, so listen. So here they are. They want to talk about politics. My friends are like greenies. At that time, this is 92, and I'm drying with towels that feel like sandpaper. They're greenies, they're lefties, and they want to have a discussion about how awful America is and how we've been using up their resources. I'm in their house. I have no way back. And I'm still me from the south side, so it's going down on that balcony. We still friends to this day.
Oh.
But I'm just saying that they've had a head start. The marketing has already happened.
Right.
And so as a black person, you're going away to college and you're hearing all of these things, like this is new history for them. It's like it's been covered up. This is back then.
Right.
Now it's in high school, it's in grade school, it's in kindergarten, right? So they're teaching little black kids from the moment they come up, from the moment they arrive from their mother's womb, how they have they're oppressed already coming out.
Now, Raquel, doesn't this go to his point though?
I never agreed.
I'm bringing it together.
Okay, bring it together.
Bring it all
Bring it
together.
home. Bring it home.
Most of that happens because there are no what in the homes, Verlon? To teach and to guide and to mold.
But now we've come up. We're in a time where, remember the babies having babies when we were coming up?
Yeah.
So now what are the babies teaching the babies now?
Right.
See, back in the day, your father was a wise man. And
Sixth grade education, but he was wise.
he was a wise man. And he was a God-fearing man too. Nowadays, God,
Yeah.
remember they used to say, you tell me, Berlin, what do you think? What do you think, John? And Chad too. Are black people still religious? Are they still attached to the church?
They're spiritual.
There are some, and the younger generation, no. But say about maybe 40 years old and up, maybe in the 30s, because a lot of women, black women are religious.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of black men aren't.
Exactly. And who's supposed to raise the house? Who's supposed to raise the family?
I'm glad you're saying that because I can't say that. A man is supposed to be the head of the household.
So Raquel, P Ray's up here like, guys, this is P Ray. She's from Black Chicago for Trump. Yeah. I was messing with P Ray. but so here's the deal. I would love to take questions if you guys, because I see that we're right around 11:30. If you have any questions you want, if not, we can continue this discussion. Oh, look at those hands. Here, stand up.
I have a question for you. What do you think about the athletes and the celebrities that are part of they're almost like they're part of the fame economy. And they get all kinds of preferential treatment in society due to their fame, and everyone loves an athlete or a celebrity. And yet they're trashing the system. Do you think a lot of black people buy into their leadership, like people like LeBron?
They're reflecting what they've learned. Black people learn the same thing. It's the same thing. So they're just agreeing with them. They're not leading black people. They're just following what it is, what the actual culture is. So it's not. There's no leadership there with the athletes.
And I think it also depends on what messaging they're espousing, because you look at what LeBron says and Black Lives Matter and President Trump is a joke. But then you come out and you look at Lil Pump and 50 Cent and all these guys coming out and saying, and Lil Wayne. See, I had to put some respect on Lil Pump name because nobody mentions that Lil Pump is a Trump supporter. but I think it's all about the messaging. Whatever messaging you support. And I think that's why I think a lot of blacks, when Ice Cube, come on, who saw that coming? That was straight out of left field.
Yeah, I was a little shocked.
That
by it.
shocked and shook up some people. I
Well,
think
only because it's Ice Cube. If it weren't for I'm sorry, Pee-Wee, I'll get right to you. If it were another rapper, maybe like if it were Sean P. Diddy Combs, okay. Ice Cube is very militant.
He is.
He's always been militant.
Always.
It's like Professor Griff. I'm sorry from Public Enemy coming out being that way. See, because he was so militant, after police and all, kind of not your Trump guy. But he's not coming out for Trump. He's still saying, I'm for black causes. So he's being very specific about what he's doing. And he's it's almost like he's saying, I'm going into enemy territory for this cause.
Right.
Still.
because he sees it's the right cause.
Exactly.
Well, I'll say this. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Verlon, for inviting me up here. I organize Black Chicago for Trump, and I live in the city in the 37th Ward in the Austin community, and I have a Trump sign in my yard. So I take this very seriously. I'm a little tired. I was up all night last night putting Trump signs
All right, girl.
slapping Trump bumper stickers on Biden signs. So I take this very seriously.
I didn't hear my dad.
Oh, my God. Well, that's what I called the president, my Donnie. On my screensaver on my phone, it's a selfie we took in the White House. I love my Donnie. But I say all of that. I give you that background to say this. I am, Austin is Chicago's largest neighborhood. It has the largest Black neighborhood. We have 100,000 people in our neighborhood. With people like Ice Cube, it's people like LeBron, are trying to be popular. Everybody's looking for the popular vote. So right now, the popular conversation is to be anti-Trump because the goal is to get likes, not followers.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So you put on messages that are very anti-Trump, very harsh against the country, very just negative to draw that attention to you for likes. LeBron James knows that he is very privileged. He lives behind huge gates. When he moved in, someone spray painted the N-word on his garage. He riled up the troops for that. It's all about likes. We're in an Instagram generation. I'm 30. So I know my people. Everybody wants likes. That's what it's all about. If you're not focused on likes, you can get work done.
Yeah. Question here. Sir?
Yeah.
It's
more of a statement than it is a question. I can speak to anybody, anytime, anywhere. Okay, I've opened dialogues.
You're in sales, aren't you?
No, I am not. I guess I am kind of.
We're all in sales.
But at any rate, the problem, the difficulties I have speaking to are, as much as anything, some of the younger demographic, your white millennials, because they think they got their finger on the pulse of the Black community, and they think that they have it all figured out, and they're gonna support BLM and Antifa and all that crap, and they're the people that they're just completely closed-minded. They can't have.
I'm gonna define this for you, though.
It's pitiful.
I'm gonna define this for you. You said the young millennial. It's a specific millennial. It's the young white liberal woman.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. They're the
And
worst.
millennials, they are the worst.
Middle-aged white women.
Middle-aged white women.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. Ashley.
Can you take that?
I want to say thank you to everybody who's on the channel. I gotta give you guys an and I've been to P-Ray's events, and they're all amazing. But the thing that I have to say that we've all talked about, and he just kind of touched on it, how the leftist Democratic Party got these children and these older people. Two things that I've found being on the ground with these people in these riots.
Tell them what you do too.
Is I support police officers. I have a nonprofit organization.
Say the name of the organization. Come on.
It's Back the Blue Events. Is what I found is that they've gotten in two ways, and those ways are purpose and care. And purpose, because you have young people who feel as though they're not given, all they do is text and selfie and text and selfie. We don't do shop class, we don't do home ec, we don't give them things for them to be proud of and give them purpose. Or say, as you grow, you will have this purpose, and this purpose has these values that come with it. So the Democratic Party has said, your purpose is to take care of these people. Your purpose is that this demographic has now been vilified because you need to take care of the black community and the minority. So now you have this entire group of young people, now they feel like this is their purpose. And if we don't go along with that and say that somehow this panel is a victim,
Oh, we're cool.
that we're bad, that we're racist. And I'm sure a lot of you have come across that. If you don't look at them as a victim instead of just the beautiful people that they are, regardless of their skin color, you're a problem, not a solution.
Come on.
And when you have older people who want care and they see the Democratic left saying, well, we'll give you this care, we'll make sure you have nursing homes, we'll make sure you get affordable care, even though it's not really affordable. But they're telling them this and people want to believe it so badly. Now you have this older demographic who will go to any lengths to support what they think is going to help them in their older age. So it's hard to get people out of that mentality. And on the streets, I will see people literally physically fight if you do not go with that rhetoric.
Yeah, so
Hi, Cindy.
I had a fish fry, really quickly. I had a Black Chicago for fish. Black
get it
Chicago
out.
for Trump fish fry.
We
on
black
October
people got a
7th.
problem with our S's.
I don't. Speak for yourself. Okay. Don't speak on behalf of me. All right. No, but really, I had a Black Chicago for Trump fish fry, and this event was wonderful. It was attended by lots of races, age demographics, but what made this event very interesting is that there was a group of liberal white women outside of my event with their Black Lives Matter signs, and they were telling me that I was supporting the racists and I ought to be ashamed of myself. And I'm like, no, you're the racist, and let me tell you why. You believe that your thoughts and feelings are superior to mine, and you believe that if I don't think like you think, then it's up to you to save me. And I'm telling you that you're very racist, Karen.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then I get back in the house, and then they left. So this is the message that has to come out. We are not a pitiful people. Again, I live on the west side. I think that the Austin community is the best neighborhood to live in the city. We have brick houses. All of our bus lines go downtown. We have 2 trains, an expressway, and the amenities of the western suburbs.
And not a lot of shootings over there.
And no, it's not. It's a calm space. But if you listen to the news, it's a poverty pit. The schools are failing. We're sad. We live in a food desert. The reason I live in Austin is because of the abundance of food. So, I mean, I love it. But we, as everyone in this room, has to change the narrative. We are not a lacking people. We don't need your help, liberal class. Leave us alone. If you leave us alone, we can thrive. But every time they come with their charity and their benevolence, and it throws off the equilibrium in the community. When we talk about welfare, people say welfare pulled the fathers from the home. It benefited the women, but it benefited the men as well because their financial responsibility was taken over by the U.S. government. So again, leave us alone and we'll thrive.
Sir.
Yes. Get it, Pete.
Real quick, I just want to say I love that you put Trump stickers on Biden's signs. I wanted to have stickers printed up that either said scary or spooky and put it on for Halloween, put it on every Biden sign I can find. That's the scariest thing I see in my neighborhood are these Biden signs. But I just wanted to ask you, what do you think could be done in the school system and the education system for our young people and they can learn how great America is?
School choice.
Oh, wait. Whoa. I get another story because I always have a story.
She always has a story.
Story.
Tell us the story.
So there I
But
was
wait, there's
listening to
more.
Larry Elder, and he was talking about Michelle Obama and her education. I went to the same high school as Michelle Obama. You went to Whitney? Yeah. Me too. I went to the same high school as Michelle Obama, and we come out very, very differently. Did you too? No. Chad did too.
I did too.
It's not impossible. You could have.
It's Whitney up.
Different outcomes. I go back and I look at and I talk to my other classmates or whatever, and they're all very progressive. All of them. All of my classmates. Makes it really awkward reunions. So this is the problem. So we have this class of people who are educated. They're trying to keep people who are not educated from getting educated. That saddens me. I want the kids to have the same opportunities in education as I did. So what we have to do is we have to be more vocal about it, and we have to look and see what people are, what they want, and what they were willing to vote for. If you are a person, if you are a candidate out there who supports school choice, every chance you get, please vote for them.
Please.
That's what I do. One of the things that I said, one lady said to me in 2016, I was running for office. They said, "Oh, are you, why are you supporting Trump?" I said, "Yeah. Why are you supporting Trump?" Because he supports school choice. I knew she was a school choice person. And she was like, okay, I get that. Support the school choice person. And also, if you know somebody who's interested in school choice like you are, see, that's why you're voting for Trump.
Yeah.
Look at it. He's the only, at that time, and even now, he's the only candidate talking about school choice.
Only one.
Don't you want your kids to have the same?
And when I was a state representative, one of the things one of the things that I really pushed was school choice. I think it's the great equalizer. You really want to go in and change the foundations of communities. School choice. Give them good quality education. Wait, hold on, Jeff, back
Well,
here.
I got one more quick piece to say on that, because my mother was actually head of the teachers union when I was growing up.
Oh,
I come from a very
oh,
liberal family. I come from, both my parents were retired teachers. It's really cute. They taught in the same building for 30 years apiece. So I got the download, and I dropped out of senior year of high school just to get back at them. I joined the Navy before I could go to prom. But the one thing I would say in our curriculum, whether you're going to a private school, public school, school choice, no school choice, I think one of the biggest problems we have is they teach American history.
Yeah.
And American history is ugly. There's a lot of stuff in there to be really upset about. What they don't do is put it in the context of world history.
correct.
Because if you think American history is ugly,
Yeah.
world history is almost
Check out
unbearable.
Belgium.
Good point.
And I think that will help people to realize how special this country is despite all its flaws.
Sir?
I was just listening to the question that the gentleman in front of me had kind of proposed, and I think that we need to find a way to infiltrate our youth culture by giving them these examples. Now, some people are all touching on it. I'm a man of the cloth, so I believe that it's got to start with our churches, the black churches. We all probably mostly those of you that's from the Chicagoland area probably heard of Reverend Wright.
Yes.
I'm talking about him, but I'm sorry for anybody who's members there. I'm not trying to say anything bad about him.
That's okay, say something bad about it.
But
Watch your mouth.
but I've never been to that church before. Don't know him personally. One of his nephews works for me, but I've never met him personally. But I do know what he's taught for decades, and unfortunately, it starts from the church. So many times, young people are hearing this from the church that we're disenfranchised and we can't make it. Then they go to school,
Yeah.
and they hear it. Then they go home, and their parents say it. My parents were, my dad's deceased, mom's still living. They were diehard Democrats, but they taught me that I can make it with hard work. As Larry
Same
said,
here, sir.
with hard work, I can make it. So more than ever, so many young people, they get all their news from whatever they see on their phones. And I think that all of us, I don't care what race you are, we need to post as much as we can post about anything that shows that you can make it. You can, no matter what race you are, you can survive. You can be a business owner. You don't have to succumb to what the forces that be are telling us that we can't make it as Black or African Americans or Hispanic Americans or just young people. Period. I can't tell you how many young white people I've had tell me it's tough out here. I'm never going to be able to do it. My parents, they're telling me I'll never be able to retire and be able to survive as a retiree. I got to figure out another way. This is the culture that's been fed to the young people. And so as much as we can, let's start from the church. Let's do it on social media. Wherever we can do it.
That's right.
Well,
Sir,
I'm sorry. Before we say that, I want to say too that we have to start teaching that Black people help build this country. Maidani said this on October 4th, 2019 in the East Room in the White House. He said, Black people, you all built this country. I mean, everybody had something to do with it, but you all did the majority of the work, and it's time for you to get credit. Nobody in the press corps picked that up, and the entire press corps was behind us. So, like,
because Trump said it.
Right, because Trump said it. So as we talk about what we could do in the schools, start encouraging Black people and letting Black children know that your people built this country. Your ancestors' hands built the treasury.
Yeah.
Like, this has to be said so that we can feel a part of the country as well.
One of the questions I have, or your thoughts, one of the issues that isn't really talked about by, I guess, the Polite Society too much, the number of Black babies that are aborted.
You got it.
I actually heard.
Don't get me started.
Well, he made the statement that I saw that he said since February, more Black babies have been aborted than people that have died from COVID.
So your thoughts there, because that really does sound like the genocide
Roland?
is covered up and quiet.
More black babies has been aborted. Yeah. More black babies have been aborted since slavery.
Yeah.
20 million black babies have been aborted so far. We need to bring God back into the home. We need to start teaching our young women that life is precious. And to piggyback off of my friend Back to Blue, it's one ingredient that we haven't talked about that can serve us better than school choice or anything. Independence.
Oh.
And that's where the black father comes in. We need to start teaching our kids independence. You can do it on your own. I don't care what the circumstances are. You can pick yourself up off the ground. You can do it. Show your kids some of these stories of people that have been addicts and went rock bottom. And they went to AA and cleaned themselves up, and now they're successful. Mike Lindell.
Yeah, Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell. Yeah, we did. Perfect example.
Berlin, also, this is a very interesting point too. I did a AM 560 thing not so long ago, and I was never ever told that I couldn't be president.
Wow.
I was never told that I couldn't be anything I wanted to be. Never, ever, not one time. And so this gentleman in the back who was talking about how we need to teach our kids, these things, these positive things. Exactly. I think that's part of it. None of what I grew up with had anything to do about, it was always can't isn't a word. And I said on the AM 560 thing, I was like, as a little kid, I'm like, what do you mean can't isn't a word? It's can't is a contraction. It's can and not. And no, there is no such word as can't. You can do whatever. This is the argument I have with my mother. But that's something that we're not taught.
I would pay to see that argument.
It was interesting. But that stood out for me, you guys, because a friend of mine said that he didn't know that he couldn't be president until Barack Obama.
Wow.
He didn't, Barack Obama showed him that you can be president. I'm like,
wow.
I never wanted to be president. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be a newscaster. But that didn't happen. Good. Who's over here?
Good question. No, but I'm sorry. Abortions in Cook County are free, guys. No, $50. You can get an abortion at Cook County Hospital or John Stroge, whatever it's called. It's $50. I know women who have had 5, 6, 7 abortions in the city of Chicago because it's marketed to my people as healthcare. So when girls get pregnant, you can go. We call it the chop shop. You can go to the chop shop, put your $50 on the counter, and get it taken care of. I don't think that $50 hollers are promoted to any other community. So people don't understand that this is genocidal. And so yes, it starts with us, but there's also an external force that's telling our people that it's okay to go and have 5, 6, 7, 8 abortions as long as you have $50. As a people, everyone here, we have to work with the state of Illinois to get them to overturn abortion as healthcare. Because right now they're free with the medical card.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Here.
I was gonna say, we have 5 kids. My husband Fernando right here.
Nando.
Yeah, we have 5 kids. We homeschool because our youngest was bullied when she was in 1st grade, and it took, I was like, well, she was in mostly white school up in Wisconsin, and we thought about it long and hard, and we said we're just gonna have to try to do it. So we homeschool. So that's always an option if you feel like your kids are not getting a good education. Now, when they got older, we decided let's try public school. So whenever we had a meet the teacher day, I made sure I told the teachers, our kids are conservative and I don't want them to be bullied because of their conservative. And they were actually thankful that our kids were like one and the only one that would put the other side up there.
Wow.
And actually, we convinced one of the teachers that was pro-Hillary. He wouldn't come right out, but he said, I didn't vote for her.
That's awesome.
I just have to interject something because I just read one of the best books I have ever read.
White Fragility?
Washington, Slavery.
Oh, yes.
I have to,
And I can tell you what a man.
Up from Slavery,
Booker
Booker T. Washington.
Oh, what an amazing man he was at 9 years old and what he built.
Yeah.
And you're talking about building this country. Well, let's go to him first as a start with the educational system and the building the country. And he worked those people hard.
We went to the same university.
Yeah.
Jim.
Thank you.
You talk about school choice, something that a lot of people aren't aware of. And if anybody's still talking, anybody's voting for Senate in Illinois, Dick Durbin was able to convince Barack Obama, when Obama was being president, to take away the school voucher choice for kids in the DC schools. A lot of people aren't aware of that. So if anybody's still talking about who's thinking about voting for a Senate, Durbin is anti-choice when it comes to schools. Like they say, Democrats are only pro-choice in one subject. Everything else,
That's true. Any more questions? Is that, are we done?
What is our takeaway, John? How are we gonna?
So here's the takeaway. So no, that's don't. I'm the moderator. That's my point. I was gonna say this to you guys. So, right. Yes, I want to be a news journalist.
I did.
So with all that said, with all that's been said today, and we can start with you, Chad. With all that's been said today, first I want you to give me a prediction. Who's going to be the president? And what's the final message? What's the final message that you want to give everybody that's here today?
Well, I think we can probably all agree that in a free and fair election, Donald Trump's going to win by a landslide. I think we probably all also have a little bit of nervousness that we might not get a free and fair election. So my prediction is he's going to win by a lot, but we better stay really engaged and better make sure they don't steal it from us, because God knows they want to. And the last thing that we didn't really touch on quite this way, but I think it's about the most important part of this whole conversation, is we need to be as passionate about intellectual diversity as the left is about physical diversity and emotional diversity. Like, we have to be really adamant when it comes to defending the fact that we get to think and speak how we want. Nobody has a right to infringe on that, regardless of how offended you might be, and dig in your heels and never quit pushing.
Yeah, wrong.
Donald J. Trump. Period.
Troublemaker.
And I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Independence, not dependence on government. Let's cut government back to what it's supposed to be. National defense. Get rid of all welfare programs. That's it.
Wow.
I got nothing.
No, come on. You got that?
Yeah, I said I gave it. I left it all on the field. All right, you guys. Donald Trump, he's killing it. We're doing a red wave. Illinois, I'm praying that we get a little touch. Please, please, let's all join hands. Come on.
Yes.
Let's give it for Illinois. Yes. Come on, we can do it. Let's have a couple more days. Let's get some more votes. Please.
The farmers are all about Trump. They're so sick and tired of all the stuff that's happened in Illinois.
You know, I live north of I-80, and so everybody down south, they give me a hard time. They think I'm Chicago just because I live north.
80.
Yeah, they think that I'm Chicago just because I'm north of I-80, right? Even though I'm not.
P. Ray.
My Donnie is definitely going to win this. I also believe that Illinois is going red. I feel it in my heart, because Black Chicago, we're tired. We grew up, when I was born, Harold Washington was mayor, and we have watched our neighborhood decline into something that we don't even recognize anymore. Vacant lots, closed schools. I mean, and the Mexican drug cartel operates off the west side of Chicago. They traffic $1 billion of heroin from the west side a year, and 90% of heroin in this country is trafficked off the west side of Chicago. We all know that, and we deserve better. So therefore, I believe that Illinois is in play. What we can do as far as race is concerned is make sure that we explain that we're all American. One thing that I have in common with most people in this room is that I too have a white great granddaddy, right? So, we have to understand that we have very similar culture. We have very similar blood ties. We have very similar history in this country. I'm an 8th generation free American since 1863. That's not even counting before then. So everything I do, say, and think is 100% American. When you see people, my people on TV, and they're doing something, don't assign that to race, assign that to being American. If we can just focus on being American and not getting so caught up in the racial aspect of it, we'll thrive, because we all have the same goal, and that's to keep our country great.
Yes.